Welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, passionate, inspirational speaker, author, poet, and entrepreneur. Good morning, and welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm delighted that you joined me this morning. Today is Wednesday, January 17th. I want to give a big thank you to those of you who are listening today all around the world. I'm delighted and so grateful that you tuned in. I sure hope you're enjoying a fabulous day today and that you're having a fantastic week because in the grand song of the universe, you know what? Life is so very short. It's short and sweet and very, very precious. So I hope you're making a difference in your own life because when you do, you also make a difference in someone else's life. Now, a lot of folks want to make their life count for something. And they ask me, Dr. Gloria, how do you do that? Well, it's really very simple. Very simple. You make your life count day by day, step by step, moment by moment, every single day, 365, 24/7. That's what Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count is all about. You can learn more about Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website. That's GloriaBurgess.com. That's the Gloria Burgess website. GloriaBurgess.com, or by visiting Facebook. My Facebook page is facebook.com/DrGloriaBurgess/PhD/. Today, I want to talk with you about healthy living. Specifically, we're going to focus on 5 habits you can cultivate for a healthy brain. Because when you have a healthy brain, you can also enjoy living a healthy life. Now, I know most of us can relate to that, if not all of us. We all want to be healthy, right? And we all want to live a healthy lifestyle. So we can make a difference in our own life and enjoy the best quality of life for ourselves, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, and intellectually, and we can also help others in our life do the same. So once again, folks, today's focus is healthy living, 5 habits for a healthy brain. Now, it's time to grab your earbuds and put on your walking shoes or your running shoes, right? Or maybe it's time for you to sit back and relax. Make yourself a cup of coffee or tea, get a nice cool glass of water, and put your feet up and relax in your favorite chair. Let me tell you something. We're going to have a great time today. Now, before I jump into today's show, I just want to take a moment to welcome you if you're just joining us. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining my show, or if you're joining Talk Network Radio for the very first time. You're in for something very special today. I'm excited to have you listening, and I'm deeply honored that you've allowed me to be part of your day, so you can be inspired by ideas and resources to make your life count. Now, the resources and ideas today all center around healthy living, and our special focus is 5 habits, 5 things you can do for a healthy brain. A very important topic so you can enjoy a healthy, happy life. Now, did you know that when you develop new habits, you're actually changing your brain. You're actually growing new connections. On a previous program, I talked about how connections are one of the keys to understanding how our brain works. Now, most of us think about the brain. I mean, we understand it as an organ with various parts dedicated to specific tasks, right? But according to leading neuroscientists, that model is wrong. It's wrong. The brain is actually a dynamic system, and the connections between its cells are always blossoming and dying and reconfiguring, right? Now, David Eagleman is one of those neuroscientists. He reminds us that our brain is actually quite magical, and the magic is all about the way our neurons constantly reweave themselves to form an electric living fabric. In other words, your brain is not static. Your brain is a living, changing, dynamic system, which means you can put your brain to work for you, and you get to shape how that happens. So, what new habits can we develop to create new connections? In essence, to create a new brain, right? Well, let's talk about some of those habits. Here are just a few ways to do just that, to form new connections in our brain. Now, we all know the benefits of exercise to help us get physically fit and maintain our overall fitness, or to help us boost our cardio health, or tone our muscles. The benefits of exercise are numerous. Did you know that exercise, in fact, movement of just about any kind, is also great for our brain's health? So habit number one is to get moving. Exercise, walking, swimming, biking, gardening, jogging, hiking, skiing, skating, yoga, stretching, surfing. No, channel surfing doesn't count. Skateboarding. You get the idea, right? So what are some of the other healthy habits for our brain? Habits that will help your mind and your memory. Whether you are 2, 22, 82, or even 102. Now, you know how much I love the arts. For years, research has shown us that engaging in the arts helps our brains as they develop. Well, research now shows that engaging in the arts also helps our brain to develop new connections over our lifetime. So another habit you can develop, now this is habit number 2, another habit you can develop is to listen to or play music or sing, right? You can listen to, play music, or you can sing it. Doing any of these musical activities can activate different parts of your brain. It can activate the motor cortex, the auditory cortex, and the limbic system, or what we call the emotional center of your brain. When you simply listen to music, your listening activates the auditory cortex, or what we call the hearing center of the brain. If you play a clarinet or flute or piano or guitar or anything else for that matter, that activates the motor and the auditory cortexes. So both listening to music and playing music can activate our limbic system, our emotions that are aroused by the music. And singing can activate all 3 of those centers, stimulating the brain's circuitry and networks, stimulating and strengthening the brain's connections, which is what helps to keep our brains healthy. Habit number 3. You can keep your brain healthy by engaging with words. Words, right? So movement, exercise, music, and habit 3 is all about engaging with words. If you love poetry like I do, you can pull out some of your favorite poems, right? You can even create or write your own poetry. You don't have to worry about how good it is because that isn't the point. The point is to engage your brain's motor center, right? And if you want to take it a step further, memorize your favorite poems. This will activate even more parts of your brain. These are the parts that most of us have heard about, but we don't necessarily have a clue about what those parts of the brain are for, right? Now, when you memorize lines from your favorite poem or song or speech or read lines by your favorite character in a play, you actually engage a part of your brain called the hippocampus, right? Not the hippopotamus, the hippocampus. You also engage another part called the temporal cortex. And guess what? You also engage the frontal lobe of your brain. Sounds pretty exciting, doesn't it? Well, it does to me. This is fun. So follow the lead of your favorite romantic or slam poet or singer or speaker or actor and commit those beautiful words of your poem or your song or speech or your play to memory. You can even call up poems or songs or verses from your childhood and see if you can remember them. If not, no worries. Look them up on the internet. Google them, right? Or look in your favorite book. And whenever you can, commit them to memory once again. Your brain will thank you, and your doctor and you will be very glad you did. Remember, the more you use your connections, the pathways in the brain, the more you strengthen those connections. Now, habit number 4. Maybe moving around, maybe exercise, or maybe music or words aren't your thing. If not, try this. This is habit number 4. Perhaps, like me, you love to draw or paint or sculpt or make or do other things with your hands. When you do any of these activities, your brain focuses on details. Focuses on the details as you sketch or watercolor or choose which pastels or which oils you're going to use or decide on which feature you're going to work on, right? This is using what we call your spatial intelligence. And your spatial intelligence, that part of your brain, has to make many, many, many spatial calculations as you perform any of these activities, as you complete a drawing or painting or sculpture, right? So engaging in these activities helps your cognitive function. It helps your motor function. It helps your emotional function. And it also helps you tap into your spiritual world. So you benefit by boosting your intellectual, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Now, if you have an elder in your life, and most of us do, whether it's a parent or grandparent, aunt or uncle, brother, sister, perhaps a spouse who's in their 50s or 60s or 70s, you can invite them to join you in any of these activities because it can help stimulate new connections in their brain as well, right? And maybe even spark a new connection, a different kind of connection, an emotional connection, right? A psychological connection, a spiritual connection with the people that you love and care about. Now, for older adults, engaging in these kinds of activities can help protect them from mild cognitive impairment. It also boosts their sense of self, their sense of worthiness, their sense of wholeness, of well-being, and their psychological resilience. Now, let's get back to the importance of connections, which is essential no matter how old you are. In his research on the brain, David Eagleman describes a study of how the brain can form new connections. Now remember, even adults can form new connections.